what if the resurrection of Jesus Christ was more than just a historical event? What if it was the decisive blow in a war that's been raging since the dawn of creation? A war hidden from the eyes of man, but real nonetheless. Not a battle of nations, but of kingdoms. Light against darkness. Heaven against the fallen hosts. And in the middle of it all, one man, a cross, and an empty tomb. Today, we're uncovering what Easter really means, not just for you personally, but for the entire world. This is the story of Christ's victory in the unseen war. From the moment the serpent entered the garden, the world was at war, not with tanks or swords, but in the realm beyond the veil. We see that in Genesis 3:15, and it lays the groundwork. I will put enmity between your seed and her seed. The first prophecy, a coming conflict between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. All throughout the Old Testament, this war rages behind the curtain. The Nephilim in Genesis 6, offspring of rebellious divine beings. Pharaoh's magicians wielding real dark power, Baal worship, child sacrifice, false gods. All part of a cosmic rebellion to corrupt God's creation and stop the coming king. But then, in the fullness of time, the promised seed arrives, not with a sword, but with a mission, not to coexist with darkness, but to destroy it. If this is already hitting you differently than most Easter messages, drop a comment and let me know what part of this story surprises you the most so far. If you're new here, hit subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next. When Jesus was crucified, his enemies thought they had won. Satan entered Judas. The rebellious elite plotted. Rome delivered the final death blow. And the Son of God was executed, hung on a tree. But what they didn't know was that they had walked into a trap. 1 Corinthians 2:8 says, "None of the rulers of this age understood this, for if they had, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory." The cross wasn't the enemy's victory, it was their undoing. Jesus bore the sins of the world, disarming the accuser. He became the curse, so that we could be made righteous. The cross was a substitution, but also a cosmic ambush. His death wasn't the end of the war, it was the beginning. 3 days later, something happened that split history in half. Jesus didn't just come back to life, he came back with authority. Colossians 2:15 declares, "He disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame, triumphing over them in him." This wasn't just about sin and death. This was the moment the kingdom of darkness was officially invaded. The resurrection was a flag planted on enemy territory. Hebrews 2:14 says, "Through death, Jesus destroyed the one who had the power of death, that is, the devil." And Daniel 7 shows us the aftermath. The Son of Man coming on the clouds, receiving dominion, and a kingdom that shall not pass away. That didn't happen in the future. It happened the moment he walked out of the tomb. Christ isn't waiting to reign. He's reigning now. And if that flips your entire view of Easter, well, hit that like button. It helps more people hear the truth about Christ's victory. Now stay with me. We're about to break down what this means for you and me today. After the resurrection, Jesus didn't disappear. He appeared to hundreds. He gave a final command: go and make disciples of all nations. The Great Commission wasn't just evangelism. It was a declaration of war. All authority on heaven and earth has been given to me, Jesus said. And in Psalm 110, it says, "Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool." That's not passive waiting. That's a king reigning while his people conquer. The church isn't a cruise ship. It's a battleship. And the resurrection was our green light to advance. Every time the gospel takes root, every time a heart turns, or a family is healed, or a nation repents, another stronghold fails. The war still rages, but the outcome, well, it's already sealed. We live in a world obsessed with decline, doom, and despair, but that's not our story. Christ reigns now. His kingdom is growing now. The resurrection wasn't the last scene. It was the opening act. 1 Corinthians 15:25 says, "He must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet. The last enemy to be destroyed is death." That day is still coming. The dead will rise. Not just Christ, but all who are in him. But that resurrection comes after his kingdom has advanced, after the nations are discipled, after the earth is filled with the knowledge of the Lord. This isn't about escaping, it's about invading. And the resurrection, well, it was D-Day. You're not just waiting for Christ to return, you're living in the power of his victory right now. The unseen war is turning, the kingdom is moving, the light is breaking through. And you, well, you were born into a generation that gets to carry that banner forward. So don't retreat, don't hide, don't settle. Stand in the authority of the risen King, because he didn't just rise from the tomb, he rose to the throne. If this episode stirred something inside you, please share it. Send it to someone who needs hope, and subscribe for what's coming next. And remember, it's the glory of God to conceal things, and it's the glory of kings to search things out. He is risen, and his kingdom has no end.